to this edition of the A2P Cast. This time, we're talking about PlayStation Now. It was just announced today at CES. Today is Tuesday, of course, which is the day we record this week. With me, it's Josh Hartman, Mike Shifsky, and special guest, once again, Mike Hogue. We're actually just talking about Michael Bay walking off stage at CES.
Yeah, what an amazingly awkward moment that was.
Yeah, this is really great. I think
everyone will remember where they were when Michael Bay walked off stage.
Where were you when Michael Bay walked off stage? So his teleprompter fucked up?
He fucked up, and then the teleprompter subsequently fucked up because it couldn't keep up with his fuck-uppery.
Oh, and then he just walked off.
And then he just couldn't take it anymore. He just walked off.
Yeah, well, good, because we can't take him anymore.
Good.
Yeah. All right. PlayStation Now is their long-awaited, well, sort of long-awaited streaming service. So I guess what's going to happen is you're going to have PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3 games streaming to the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and the Vita, as well as other Sony devices, including their TVs, which I think is the coolest out of any of those.
Although I imagine that they'll have to be really careful with their... they won't actually want to give you a PlayStation 4 game for free, you know.
Oh, well,
I would be shocked if they said, oh, and you can also play all the brand new PlayStation 4 titles without buying a PlayStation 4. That doesn't seem like something they'll do.
Well, no, you're not getting PlayStation 4 streaming. You're getting PlayStation 1, 2, and 3.
Ah, well then.
To a 3, 4 Vita or other Sony devices.
Look at my mind with business. See, I knew that before I even knew it.
Yeah, so, I mean, so especially with the TV thing, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
If it works.
If it all comes to fruition, yes. It is very... It's such an interesting idea. Yeah, like the idea... This is kind of what we've been talking about, saying we don't like, but I kind of like it. Whereas like the convergence of the console and the TV, it's like it's always been two separate devices. Why not just make it one? Why not just have the TV do what you want?
Well, this is, I think, the whole argument behind smart TVs. But how much do we know about pricing?
We don't know anything about pricing.
Yeah, that's a little concerning.
It is. Well,
I mean, not that it could have... I can't imagine it being too crazily priced. Yeah. No more than maybe Netflix would be. Or maybe it would be built into the PlayStation Plus subscription.
Right.
PlayStation 2.
You pointed out that PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now... Someone commented that their pairing is as of yet undecided. So as of now, they're still separate entities.
Right, or sort of unknown.
Yeah.
They're not sure, will they pair it with PlayStation Plus and give it as just another bonus? Because PlayStation Plus, I think the big feature of PlayStation Plus, as I'm sure many people know, is that you get free games with it. And you can just keep them. You download them and you keep them. And then, of course, Microsoft jumped on the bandwagon with that, giving out games with gold.
By the way, they finally came out with their one decent game, which is Sleeping Dogs. I don't know if anyone noticed. Sleeping Dogs is finally available for free on Xbox.
Yes, I did.
There was Assassin's Creed 2 as well.
That's true. But, I mean, like, PlayStation Plus was coming out... I don't mean to get too off on the tangent, but, like, PlayStation Plus was coming out, like, Uncharted 3, a year after.
No, this month it's Bioshock Infinite.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
For PlayStation?
PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
For free.
We're getting yanked.
Yeah.
And not in a good way, in like a painful kind of way. This is a bad yank.
It was a bad yank. We're having a bad yank.
Microsoft, as they are wont to do, is giving the world a bad yank and pretending like it's good.
It's like a bad hair day. You're trying to lie to yourself.
It doesn't look that bad. No, it does.
No, it really does.
It really does.
Microsoft. But yeah, so whether they'll add that on to PlayStation Plus or whether that will be something else entirely, whether it will work like Netflix and you just pay $10 a month to have this rental service, you just play what you want when you want, or if it will be sort of pay per title. You know, I want to pay $25 and be able to play The Last of Us whenever I want to.
That's a good question, because really,
right.
I mean,
how will the pricing work?
Because there's no backwards compatibility on the PlayStation 4.
Right,
That's a viable idea that they say, do you want to play Metal Gear Solid? You can, but it'll cost you $15.
Right. But that's the thing, it's like that opens up the game library of the PlayStation 4 to literally everything
Yeah.
in the last 20 years that's
And
been
this-
made on a PlayStation.
If they were to do that with a Netflix model, could anything stop the PlayStation's domination?
And this is the big sticking point that
like that would be
people have.
remarkable.
It's the big sticking point that people have had for PlayStation 4 is like the games aren't there yet. Well, like in summer of 2014, you could instantly have like just a boatload of games at your disposal for the PS4. I mean, theoretically, but I mean,
Right.
that will instantly vault them ahead of the Xbox One in terms of content.
You know, when we just listening and kind of, this is a new development. I kind of talking about it almost as it happened.
Yeah.
I kind of had a flashback when I was able to download onto my iPad the Grand Theft Auto
3?
Vice City.
Vice City. Okay, it's Vice City.
And it might have cost me like maybe $2.99, and I had a blast from the past, and I had a great time. I had a great fucking time. I was on public transit playing it. I was killing hookers anywhere I wanted to in my life. And you know what? I loved my iPad even more because I was able to take a little bit of what I do now in my everyday life, and I was able to say, I want to have my old stuff. I want to have my childhood a little bit. And I think it's going to be a huge kind of selling point with this. I think PlayStation is looking for a way to kind of compete with Xbox and make their service ever the more viable. And this is what's going to do it. I mean, it's that spanning of generations, that feeling that you can have it all, and you can have your cake and eat it too.
And eat it, and then
And-
shove it in someone else's face, and then throw it at Microsoft.
That reminds me that I think it makes a good point that this is something that appeals really well and totally differently to hardcore gamers and casual gamers. Because I hadn't considered the other side of that, because I think for the casual gamer, the nostalgic idea of a game is really important. Just that even, that simple idea of remembering when you were in middle school and playing Grand Theft Auto and just being able to have that with every PlayStation game you could think of.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I had been coming at it from a hardcore gamer point of view, and just the fact that there was no backwards compatibility. I'm not looking to be nostalgic about it. I'm looking to see all the new possibilities that it already offers without even thinking about nostalgia. So the fact that, one business idea that can simultaneously make two totally different markets happy is pretty powerful.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because as we're looking at the cross-compatibility of all of this, we're looking at their PlayStation, Xbox, as this grows into, the TVs and everything, they're looking at spanning market genres. So obviously, these game consoles being able to play Netflix was actually a huge buying point for me. I was able, even if I don't play Xbox all that much,
You watch Netflix.
I watch Netflix on my Xbox.
Yeah.
So I'm having an interaction with the Xbox in a whole other way, and they know that.
Oh, well, see, this is the interesting thing, is that the PlayStation 3 was actually the device most used for Netflix watching, of any device. So smartphones, laptops, gaming consoles, anything. PlayStation 3 was the top.
So they know that. They know that's a market in that. So they see this working for the back compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
They see it working across multiple. And I think this is actually, now that I know this exists, it makes me want to either dust off my old Xbox or PlayStation, or go out and actually get the new PlayStation. Because I've been considering, buying the PlayStation, but knowing that it can
It's
do
a
all
tough
this.
decision to make when
This
you only have
this
so
is-
many dollars, and it
this is
certainly
the-
puts the PlayStation
This is
in
what
a
I've
nice
been thinking
position.
about for the last, couple months. Like,
Because
which
I don't know
one do
about you
want?
guys, but growing up, PlayStation was my console. That was the one that I wanted to play. And then Xbox became so powerful when I was maybe late middle school, early high school, was when they came out with the...
I was the weird kid with the GameCube all the time. Like
I had a
and
GameCube.
and I was looking at
But
the PlayStation.
GameCube loves.
Yeah,
GameCube.
No.
always GameCube love.
No, I had a GameCube, I had a PlayStation, I had like 3-generation PlayStations. Because I don't know what you could play on PlayStation, but at the time, it was... I don't know, maybe it was EA Sports, or I don't know what it was that they had a market niche for, but, when I had Nintendo, I had GameCube, I had Sega. Oh my god, Sega, guys. Sega.
Now you really
Look at that
got
smile.
my nostalgia for you.
Sega, guys.
So will PlayStation now have Sega games? That's a...
Well, but
If they do that,
but
seals the deal.
that is an interesting thing to think about. Is will they also have the other side of the Netflix coin, if they go with that route, in how will they secure the rights to all of the third-party games? Will they be able to do that? Will they will it be, you can play this game up until February 1st, and then we've lost the rights to it until we get them again. Or someone else has the rights now. Or, will you have to deal with that? Will it just be first-party games that Sony has done in-house? How will that work? That is something that remains to be seen. And I think that will largely determine the success or the failure of it. In terms of just how much content can they put up on PlayStation Now.
And not just the content, but the quality of the content.
That is very, very important.
So we have the background of Sony bought Gaikai in 2012.
Right.
And Gaikai reminds me of, I know you guys weren't totally familiar with this, but OnLive is this company. I think it was like a few years ago. They really tried to make a push for streaming games, not just on your TV, but on your tablet, on your PC, like anywhere. They're trying to do exactly what Sony's trying to do. And they ran into these issues of just, first and foremost, internet connectivity is a big problem. Like, so you basically have this game on this server, millions of millions.
It's on the moon.
It's on the moon.
It is so far away you literally cannot even.
You just cannot even conceive of it. But anyway, it's so far away. It's on a server somewhere, not anywhere close to your house. Okay, let's say Chicago. Okay, all right.
It's a couple hundred miles away.
I've lost my thought.
Anyways,
But anyway, so you have a server, and like you're trying to stream the game from the server to your TV. Like even if you just have a TV, again, like you just have a TV, you're trying to play the game through the TV. Will there be latency? Will there be quality of content? Will there be any number of issues that OnLive had?
Right, because all of the processing will be done on a remote server. So I think the Polygon article, I believe, I'm attributing that correctly, that I was reading about it, said that they weren't sure, was this going to be emulated on like generic hardware, or would this be something that was running on actual PlayStation 3 hardware, just running a version of the game remotely on the hardware it was intended to be run on. They're not sure if that is, which one of those is the case. But yeah, that's the whole point. You press a button here in your living room. What's the latency between the button press on the controller to the remote server, and then the action calculated on the server sent back to you on your screen? Is that short enough that it doesn't cause the kind of lag that makes games unplayable?
And it really doesn't take much. It doesn't take much at all to be absolutely
completely unplayable.
I mean, exactly. I mean, look how often Netflix or streaming videos, how that can glitch.
Yeah.
Especially, with Comcast.
Especially with Comcast. It's funny how often we do like a reverse plug for Comcast. Like there are people who are sponsoring things all over the internet, and you give, "Oh, this is a great."
We're
product.
going to give a negative sponsorship to Comcast right now. Comcast is a big piece of shit.
At every opportunity, we push this company down with free of charge. No one pays us to do this.
Let's just say we'll promote any product you might want us to promote, but we will never promote Comcast on this fucking podcast.
Don't even think about it. Don't even ask us Comcast.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Unless you put a lot of zeros, and I mean a lot of zeros. I'm not saying I can't be bought, but I'm not cheap.
We wouldn't even take free Comcast for it.
That's over.
Yeah,
anyway.
That happened. We got off on a tangent.
So latency, we were talking about.
Yeah. That's a big issue. Like you said, you do still see that in Netflix streams, though it is it's interesting to see how they deal with it. Of course, they just drop the quality of the video that's streaming. Sometimes it really fucks up, and it just stops playing. But I feel like this could be a big issue for games that are reliant on, just Twitch reaction, Call of Duty multiplayer stuff.
Yeah. Things that require snap decisions.
Which so many games do.
Oh yeah, so many games.
It's hard to think of a game that, it would be fine if it had a quarter of a second.
I
can't think of a single game.
Time decision. Trying to play Heavy Rain, with the button mashing, and be almost impossible. Like if there was latency, assuming there was latency. But so many more examples of that. But you know, but they do have one thing going for it, and we've talked about it before, is the content. And like this was the one thing OnLive had no content because they had nobody that bought into their system. This is Sony buying into their own system because they bought Gaikai, and they have this way of finally getting all this content to their users. And you know, these are products that everyone loves. This is content that everyone loves. You can now play God of War 1, 2, and 3 on your PS4. You can play
or a Vita.
Or a Vita.
Or your Sony TV.
Or a Vita. Yeah,
it's remarkable.
Yeah.
Let's throw it even way back. I mean, let's throw it way back to some of those games we played.
Siphon Filter.
Final Fantasy.
Well, no, I mean,
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Some crazy games that we used to play when we were younger.
Buzz Lightyear Adventures.
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot. That's a great example. That was a very popular game.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about this earlier, like just how gaming systems, how small the market was, or how narrow the market was. Really, how narrow it was. Where if you had a Nokia phone, everybody played Snake. Everybody played Snake. I mean, if you had a Nokia phone, you all played the same phone game on your phone. But now, I mean, if thinking back to when we played games earlier, I mean, we all most likely played the same video games when we were in middle school. Like it was because there were very few games. Like
the market was just smaller. Everyone had to partake from the same piece of pie. Now, I remember what you said is just that now that there's so much more, not even in just games and everything is splintered so much that even wildly popular and successful games I've never even played. Candy Crush, I've never touched it. I have no idea. Farmville, I've barely seen a screen of it. I know it exists, but I have absolutely no interest or concept of it. Versus the Nokia Snake game. Everyone knows what that game is.
Did you play it?
Yeah. Everyone knows what that game is.
Everyone.
So
my cat has played it.
I think this is true. Again,
she doesn't have thumbs.
The power of the PlayStation Now for the casual gamer is that if you want brand recognition, my God, you're going back to those brands.
Those brands.
Those brands.
Big time brand.
Everybody knows.
Big fan of the brand.
But so I think that's going back though. I think this is what is so appealing about PlayStation Now.
But the point, the one more point we wanted to get to, and I think this is an interesting point. What does this do to brick and mortar physical game stores?
Yeah. Nothing good.
It's gone.
Nothing good at all.
We're seeing the same model that Blockbuster.
It's true. In fact, there was a Forbes article that came out today that mentioning all this and asking, is GameStop now the Blockbuster of video games?
I called it how many months ago? I said it.
And yet you don't write for Forbes. What is this travesty?
They should really get the act together.
They really should.
And hire me.
my code.
And hire me.
I'm a trendsetter.
No, it's true. I think brick and mortar game stores are probably in trouble, and it's kind of been it's been the writing on the wall for a while.
Yeah.
The switch to digital is happening. It's just when it's going to really when the tipping point will happen, and you'll see more people doing things digitally.
For me, it's going to be when the value of trading in a game is going to be less than the convenience of just having the game whenever you want and not being able to get any money back for it. I mean, that's still why I'm sticking true to GameStop. I will probably still stick with GameStop until the bitter end, because you still have that ability. Like, I mean, Blockbuster was purely a rental system. You could, as far as I know, you could sell movies. GameStop, you can, if you're done with the game, you can trade it in and get some value for it, and then purchase other games with it. I think that is the core essence of what I like about physical copies is there's value to it. Whereas once you download a digital copy, that's it.
Yeah, right. Even if you don't play it anymore.
Even if you don't play it anymore, you can either delete it from your hard drive, and that obviously doesn't get you any money, or just keep it there. There's still an intrinsic, I wouldn't say intrinsic value, there's a dollar value in being able to trade in your game. You can trade in GTA 5 at any point. Not that you're going to, but you'll trade it in, and you'll probably get, like $25 to $30, something like that. I don't know. Whatever the point is. The point is, like, you will still have a value for it. And when will that value be less than the convenience value?
Well, and actually, going off of that, I'm going to push it towards, we're seeing a shadow effect of the bound book industry. I mean, that was the same. I'm sure the same plight, if you will, of the book industry. That when the value of books, when will that change? Well, no longer are we paying people to make those discs, to stand in those factories, to do that physical labor. So the cost will then go down. And I think that's actually the reason why we go digital, is that the cost will eventually go down, the labor costs go down. It's kind of I would say a dark horse about it all. I mean, we're seeing the labor force change to be automatic. So I can purchase a book on iBooks for much cheaper than I can purchase a book in the store, a physical book, because the parts, the labor is no longer there.
Yeah, I mean, I just bought a book on Amazon today, actually, with the gift card you gave me. Thank you, Mike, for Christmas.
A giver of all.
A giver of all men to all men. I bought a book today, and the Kindle version would have cost me $10 or $15 less than the actual version. I did order the actual version because I wanted a physical copy, but
and that's where it's a niche market.
But yeah, so it goes, digital versus physical. We actually had this discussion a couple weeks ago.
It comes full circle. Everything.
With Mike Hogue, everything.
On the homestead.
On the homestead.
when you get on the homestead, you don't want to get off. But really, get off.
All right, I guess that's us getting off the homestead.
We are running away from the homestead. There's a scary man with a mask and a scythe coming after us, and his name is Mike Hogue.
Stomping Grapes. We going.
You guys will miss me.
All right, so that about wraps it up for us this time. For Mike Hogue, Mike Shipsky, and Josh Hartman, the cats that are napping somewhere, the space heater here because it is cold as hell, I'm Mike Reifenberry. We'll talk to you guys next time.